Hello everyone, welcome to watching me lose my sanity beating a Pokemon game mostly damageless. I'll get into that later. But I don't think I need to explain how this challenge is difficult. So let's get right into the rules. Number 1. If any Pokemon I control take a single hit point of damage, I have to reset to the last save. That includes attack damage, static damage like poison, burn, hail, etc., and recoil damage. 2. I'm allowing myself to save whenever I want, only because I have one Switch and I want to play other games. But those are the only rules, so let's head right into the game. I start out by naming myself Hyperior, and then I see a Wooloo banging its head against a fence. I think nothing about it and head towards Hop's house. Then I'm tasked with finding Leon. After that, he lets me choose a starter. I pick Grookey because Nessa is stupidly hard to take down, and Grookey just has a type matchup. Then, the challenge instantly comes to a sudden end. We have to fight Hop, and his Wooloo only knows Tackle, a 100% accurate move. And even with the crit, it still lives with about 1/4 health remaining. And we can't grind anywhere, so we're essentially soft locked. So I would just like to thank you for watching this incredibly short run. Okay, so the new rule. I cannot take any damage except from Hop's first Wooloo. With the new rule, I battle a Hop for about another hour until I get the perfect run. I scratch the Wooloo about 3 times before it goes down, and then it's on to a Sobble, which I outspeed and crit for an Oko, one-hit knockout. With that battle under our belt, we can begin the fun part of this challenge. I run through a forest, find some lost dogs, and save a Wooloo that Charizard will definitely eat later. Then talk to Mom and grab 5 Pokeballs and run out to catch a bird. I decided that Rookidee would probably be the best option for a Pokemon since it obliterates 3 out of the 8 gyms and plenty of other important battles. So I caught one with an attack boosting nature. Since all my Pokemon were super weak, I had to catch train them. Starting from Gen 6, XY, whenever you caught a Pokemon, it would give you XP for it. I started catching Wooloo because I learned they have the highest EXP yield out of all the Pokemon on Route 1. And after about 15 minutes of catching Pokemon, a Rookidee broke out of its Pokeball and landed a Power Trip. The next 3 attempts of getting a Pokemon strong enough to take something out went pretty much the same way. Pokemon breaks out a Pokeball and attacks. On my good attempt, I catch a Rookidee and grind for about 30 minutes until I remember Choodle spawn on Route 2. And Grookey knows Branch Poke. So I head over there, grab 20 Pokeballs from Leon, and almost run into a trainer. I'm scared to fight him at this current level, so I decide to do a bit more grinding. At level 11, I decide to try the battle out, but I only do about 3/4 HP. So I decide to reset for a crit. After a few tries, I land a crit defeating the Squobit. I then run up to Route 2 and defeat all the trainers except the last one. Now the route is fully open, so I run up and down it, killing any Choodle that I see. The reason I didn't take the final trainer down is because it has a Nickit with Quick Attack. So I caught my own Nickit and trained it to level 16. During that grind, Grookey evolved. Even at level 16, I can't defeat the Nickit, so I soft reset for about 30 minutes waiting for a crit. I eventually do take it down. But after that, it's Hop time again. He starts out sending out his dreaded Wooloo, which I Oko, then he sends out Sobble, which I also kill. Last is Rookidee, and believe it or not, I took it out with a single double hit. Then some stars fall out of the sky, I grab one and head to the train station. Since Wooloo are blocking the track, we are then taken to the wild area, where I'm supposed to go to Motostoke City, but I decided to head back and take a ride to the Isle of Armor. I wanted to go to the Isle of Armor for 2 reasons. One, because Chansey is basically a giant EXP point. The second reason is the greatest item ever in this challenge. That's a lie, but it helps a lot. The EXP Charm. The item name explains why this is so helpful in this challenge. It just speeds up grinding by a lot. But before I can get it, I have to defeat Clara. This battle took less than an hour and wasn't hard, but she first sends out Venipede, which I kill, but Poison Point activates and poisons Corvisquire. But the Pecha Berry I had bought got rid of it. You have absolutely no clue how smart I felt when that happened. Then she sent out Slowpoke and I sent out Thwackey and crit a Razor Leaf for the win. Then with that I head to the dojo, accept a battle challenge from Mustard, get the XP charm from the Tech Kid, and leave. Then I decided I wanted to grind. While grinding, I decided to roam the Isle for random TRs that might be helpful later. Behind the water tower, I find the TR for liquidation, which will come in handy later. After a few levels of grinding, I decided to continue with the main story. At the gym stadium, I choose the gym challenge number 612 for no reason. I randomly selected numbers with my eyes closed. After that, I head to the Budew drop-in to sleep when I encounter Team Yell Grunts. The first 2 grunts go by easy with Quick Attack, but the final 2 is a double battle with Hop. Normally this battle wouldn't be hard, but the Nickit knows Quick Attack and the Zigzagoon knows Snarl. So I'd have to quick attack the Nickit, then bank on a 5% chance for Snarl to miss. After a few tries, I decided to give up and use a different strategy. I knew I needed a ghost Pokemon so Nickit couldn't hit me, and one that would outspeed and OHKO both Pokemon at once. At the Watchtower Ruins, it hit me. Sandygast. It was perfect. I decided Sandygast was best because 1, it's a ghost type, 2, I love Sandygast, and 3, it learns Bulldoze. Bulldoze is a 60 base power, 100 accurate move that hits everyone on the field. It also lowers the target speed. And since Hop isn't me, I can deal as much damage to it as I like. So, I fly back to the Olive Armor and run to Loop Lagoon to catch one. After about 3 attempts, I finally get one to catch. While grinding Sandygast, I wanted to catch a Kingler because it was a strong water type and I would need one for Kabu. So I went to the shore and caught one. After getting Sandygast to level 25, I headed back to fight Team Yell. I obliterated the entire field, including the Wooloo. The next day, I do the gym challenge opening, head to Route 3, and battle Hop. Believe it or not, but the Hop battle was a one-sided sweep. I one-shotted his entire team. He didn't even get the chance to attack. After that, I headed to Galar Cave number 1 and encountered a wild bead. Just like Hop, I destroyed the entire field with knockoff. So I headed to the first gym. Again, believe it or not, when I reached the first gym, I OHKO'd every single one of his Pokemon with Corvisquire. Immediately after that, I ran to Hulberry to challenge Nessa. The gym challenge was simple. I defeated all the gym people and completed the challenge. But now it's Nessa time. First, she sends out Arrokuda, which luckily does an Aqua Jet. Then Goldeen, which a knockout. Last is Dreadnought. I was honestly really scared for this fight. The reason I Dynamaxed on the Goldeen was to set up grassy terrain to ensure the KO. I was mostly scared of it outspeeding Grookey, but since the rain wasn't up, Swift Swim couldn't activate. Luckily, I outsped and OHKO'd Dreadnought, giving me the second badge without taking damage. After that, I took on Beat again in Galar Cave number 2. This battle went the exact same as the last one, obliterated his side of the field. After escaping the cave, I went to the Budew Inn to battle Marnie. Like all the other battles, I defeated her entire team with Rillaboom. Then it was time for probably the scariest gym yet. Kabu uses fast fire type, so I didn't know if Kingler would outspeed. Just to make sure he would, I did a little more grinding and gave him the Mystic Water. I finished up the gym challenge, actually getting hit once, but other than that it was smooth sailing. But now it's Kabu time. I immediately start by Dynamaxing Kingler to set the rain up. Then, I destroy his entire team, one-shotting everything that stood in my path. After that, I see Hop lose to Bead, run to Hammerlock, learn about the pass of Galar or something, and fight Hop one more time at Stolen Side. He starts off with Cramorant, and I somehow take it out with the Drill Peck. Next is Drizzile, so I send out Rillaboom, who takes it out with the Drum Beating. Third is Toxel, who, like Drizzile, gets taken out with the Drum Beating. Last is Silicobra, and like the last few before it, it gets one shot with the Drum Beating, taking out Hop. After destroying the gym challenge, I then challenge B. I started by switching into Sandygast actually, because the Hitmontop can't hit Ghost. And after a few bulldozes, Hitmontop goes down. I then switched to Corviknight and one-shot everything from the Pangoro to the Machamp, grabbing the 4th badge along the way. Then we find Beat destroying an ancient ruin, so I use Knockoff again on his entire team. After that, I get to Balanlea Town to challenge the gym. During the gym challenge, I got faked out by a Morgrem, so I did a bit more grinding. During the grind, Sandygast evolved into Palossand. After doing the gym challenge a second time, I took on Opal. First is Weezing, who gets taken out by a Steel Wing. After that is Mawile, who I don't actually take out with a Bulldoze. Luckily, it used Iron Defense, so I was able to take it out next turn. Third is Togekiss. I send out Corviknight to max Steel Strike it to death. Last is Alchemy. With a max Steel Strike, I take the 5th badge. After that was another Hop battle, so I just take out his entire team, except for Bolton, who actually outsped and hit a Spark. But next try goes better. Trevenant starts and gets taken down by a Drill Peck. Then Hemor also gets one shot by a Liquidation. And without boring you to death, the rest of his team goes exactly the same. I then hunted for the 5th and 6th team members. 5th was Shiinotic for the Fairy typing, and 6th was Sizzlipede for the Fire Bug type. After that was the 6th gym leader. He sent out Barbaracle, and I countered with a Drum Beating from Rillaboom. Second was Shuckle, who lives at half health and hits Rillaboom with a Rock Tomb. Next attempt starts out the same way, taking out the Barbaracle, and on the Shuckle, I switch into Kingler this time, taking it out. Third is Sojourner, who gets taken out by a Drum Beating. Fourth is G-Max Colossal, who gets taken out by a Liquidation, grabbing the 6th badge. Then is another Hot battle, and it's hailing. Since I don't have any Ice types, I run to the Pokemon Center to grab Rain Dance. I put it on Kingler, and after about 5 attempts, I get the run where I take out Hop's entire team with Liquidation and Drum Beating. Then, after beating up a few Team Yell members and surfing on a bike, I arrive at Spikemuth and challenge Marnie. First, she sends out Liepard, who luckily doesn't fake out and got taken out with a drum beating. Second was Toxicroak, and like the Liepard before it, it gets taken out by a drill peck. Third is Morpeko, who gets taken out by a drum beating. Fourth and last is Scrafty, who also gets destroyed by a single drill peck, granting me access to Spikemuth. Then it was time to battle Piers. He started out by sending Scrafty, who straight up lived the drum beating from Rillaboom and hit me with a payback. So the next few hours I continued to grind on Wilmer. After a few hours of attempts getting walled by Obstagoon, I left the battle and grabbed the TM for Brick Break to teach Kingler. At the battle, he starts by sending out Scrafty again, and I send out Palisand so fake out wouldn't work. I took it out with one Earth Power. Second was Malamar, who Rillaboom handled easily with the drum beating. Third is the dreaded Obstagoon, and obviously Kingler takes it out with a single Brick Break. Last and probably the scariest is Skuntank. In order to win, I send out Palisand and predict that it won't go for Sucker Punch. I luckily predicted right, so I O-code it with one Soft Sand boosted Earth Power. That battle probably took 6 to 8 hours to defeat with all the grinding and failed attempts. But like that, it was time for the final gym leader, Raihan. The gym challenge wasn't that hard, it just took a few tries and a little predicting. But it was then time for the main man himself, the 8th gym leader, Raihan. He leads with Gigalith and Flygon, and I counter with Shiinotic and Kingler. And somehow, I forgot Gigalith had Sandstream, so that's the end of that run. So I try again, this time with a plan. I equip the safety goggles to Shiinotic and add Palisand to the front of my party and try again. And before I even get the chance to move, Flygon hits a crunch. After another few hours of attempting and grinding, I try again with a different strategy. First, I start off with Corviknight and Kingler. I immediately max Kingler and obliterate the opposing Flygon with one max strike giving me an attack buff. Corviknight also took out the Gigalith, but that doesn't matter as much. So, Raihan then brought out G-Max Duraludon and Sandaconda. So I attacked the Duraludon with a +1 max Knuckle from Kingler, taking it out. Corviknight also took out the Sandaconda, but again, that doesn't matter as much. And that was the final gym. So all that was left was the gym leader tournament and the champion. So I made my way past Route 10, grabbed the TM for Stompin' Tantrum, and made my way to Winden. Once there, I made my way towards the stadium to start the tournament. First is Marnie, who leads with Liepard and gets Brick Break by Kingler. Next is Morpeko, who also falls to a Brick Break. Third is Scrafty, and I actually Dynamax to get the attack buffs from Max Knuckle. I then take it out in one hit. The remaining Toxicroak and Grimmsnarl fall to the same fate. Next is Hop, who sends out Double. I take it out with the Brick Break. Second is Pincurchin, and I Dynamax Kingler to start building up Max Knuckles. Pincurchin, Snorlax, and Corviknight all fall to the claws of Kingler. Last is Inteleon, so I switch to Rillaboom and outsped it to take it out with the drum beating, winning the battle. It's now time for my personal least favorite part of this game. It starts with me battling Macro Cosmos' Eric 3 different times to get a single key. Actually, on the third battle, I was fighting a Ferroseed that had Iron Barbs, so I tried switching into Palisand to hit it with a special move, but I was just hit with a Flash Cannon. I also forgot to save after the Hop battle. Second try through, I defeated all of his Pokemon with ease, so I headed to Rose Tower. Inside the elevator, you have like 5 double battles with Hop's double by your side, but I surprisingly didn't take any damage that entire ride up. But it was then time to fight Oleana. She started with a Frostlass, who started by using Double Team, but I luckily hit a Fire Lash. Second was Milotic, who was taken out by a drum beating. Then was Salazzle, who I took out with a knockoff from Rillaboom. I don't even know why I stayed in. Third is Serena, who gets one shot by a Fire Lash. Last is Garbodor, who gets taken out by a single Max Flare. After the battle, I overhear the Chairman and Leon talking about some power caresses that's going to happen in 1,000 years or something like that. But all my character really wants to do is eat dinner. Like, that's the entire reason I broke 20 laws to get here. But it's now time for the semifinals against the gym leaders. But before we can start anything, Beat comes out, so we have to battle him first. He starts with a Mawile, who takes a drum beating and hits Rillaboom with a Play Rough. Second try, I take down his Mawile with a Steel Wing. Next is Gardevoir, who goes down to drum beating from Rillaboom. Third, fourth, and fifth all go down to one Steel Wing / Max Steel Spike from Corviknight. The next battle is against Nessa. She starts with Gliscopod, who luckily doesn't first impression to get taken down easily. Second and third are Seeking and Pelipper, who both get taken down with the drum beating and Max Overgrowth. Fourth is Barraskewda, and somehow is able to outspeed and hit Rillaboom with an Ice Fang. After many attempts, I get the winning one. She starts with Gliscopod that goes for first impression. Luckily, the Lax Incense came in handy, so I avoided it. I then took it out with a drum beating. Next is Seeking, who again gets taken out with a drum beating. Third is Pelipper, and it falls to the same fate as the other two before it. Fourth is Barraskewda, and this thing ended 100% of my previous attempts. I assume it has the ability Swift Swim because it outsped everything on my team and landed Ice Fangs. It has 136 base speed, which isn't ridiculous, but it's definitely not high enough to outspeed a Rillaboom double its level. But this attempt it happened to miss the Ice Fang, giving Rillaboom the perfect chance to strike. Last is Dreadnought, and this thing was a piece of cake compared to Barraskewda. Next was B, and I honestly forgot you even had to battle her. I was ready to fight Raihan's Torkoal, and I was truly surprised to see her walk onto the field. But this battle was the easiest yet. I destroyed all of her Pokemon using Drill Peck. I honestly think I could have done it with my eyes closed. Finally was Raihan, and he started with Torkoal, who was blown back by Kingler. Second was Goodra, and I sent out Rillaboom to hit it with a drum beating. But I didn't know it had the ability Sap Sipper. I didn't even know Sap Sipper was an ability, period. But it increases the Pokemon's attack by 1 stage if it's hit with a grass move. Luckily, it used Rain Dance, so I lived another turn. I then switched into Kingler, only to be hit by Muddy Water. After 3 more attempts, I get the perfect run. It starts the same as last time, but at the Goodra, I switch into Shiinotic to take it out with a Moonblast. Fourth is Turtonator, who also falls to a Moonblast. Fifth is Flygon, so I max Kingler to take it out with a single Max Knuckle. Last is Duraludon, who gets 1 shot by Kingler. Next was supposed to be the champion battle, but Chairman Rose decided to bring about the darkest day and awaken Eternatus. So me and Hop head to the Slumbering Weald, grab the Rusted Sword, and fight the Chairman. He starts with Escavalier, who goes down to a Fire Lash. And without boring you to death, the other Pokemon go exactly the same, Fire Lash them down. But it was time to fight the big bag Eternatus. I started with Centiskorch, but I learned that it doesn't even outspeed. So I tried with Rillaboom, and I learned that Drum Beating does nothing. So I taught it Stomping Tantrum for more coverage and a super effective move. In one attempt with it, I managed to take it down. But it was time for Eternamax Eternatus. This battle is so scary because it's a 1v4 and you can't take it down in one hit. So every turn you have a 25% chance of getting hit. But literally my first attempt, Zacian starts by using Howl boosting my attack, allowing me to do a whole 20% of its health. It has 250 base defense. That's just ridiculous. Eternatus then uses Max Wormwind, which luckily targets Double. Next turn, Zacian hits a Behemoth Blade that does about 20% of its health. Along with my Stomping Tantrum and Zamazenta's Behemoth Bash, we did probably 50% of its health in one turn. Next turn, using one final Stomping Tantrum, I take it out without taking any damage. And of course, I catch it in a Dive Ball. After doing a little more grinding, it was then time for the final battle of the game. Leon starts by sending out Aegislash, so I counter with Centiskorch. Aegislash starts with the King Shield, and I use my Fire Lash so my attack gets dropped by 1 stage. Next turn, I hit it with a super effective Fire Lash, bringing it probably down to 3% HP, giving it the perfect chance to hit a Shadow Ball. I continue to attempt the fight many times over, but I can never get the correct luck, so I just do a bit more grinding. After getting a few levels higher and attempting the battle many more times, I had the final run. First, he starts with Aegislash, so I predict a King Shield, so I go for Sunny Day. I predicted right, so I set the sun up. Next turn, I go for a Fire Lash, taking it out. After that was Seismitoad, so I send out Rillaboom and take it out with the Drum Beating. Third was Cinderace, so I kept in Rillaboom. The reason I kept him in is because this Cinderace was so fast. It outsped probably everything else on my team. But I used Stomping Tantrum, taking it out in 1 hit. Next was a super fast Dragon Bolt, so I switched into Eternatus. Luckily, I outsped and hit a super effective Dynamax Cannon. Like the Dragon Bolt before it, Haxorus also fell in the same way. Last was G-Max Charizard, so I sent in Kingler. I then Dynamaxed it hoping to outspeed, and I actually did. So I hit one final Max Rockfall, ending the Damageless Challenge. This run was pretty fun, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. 75% of this run was just grinding, and being forced to take damage at the beginning kinda made this run feel illegitimate. That's probably just me. But other than that, it was really fun finding ways that would help make this run less dependent on RNG. But if this video can reach 1,000 likes before 2022, I will do this challenge again. But if I take damage once, besides the beginning Lulu, I would restart the entire game. So good luck in reaching that. But thank you so much for watching. I am definitely planning on doing another Pokemon challenge run soon, so look forward to that. And if you somehow watched this entire video, make sure to subscribe. it would mean a lot. So, one last thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.